Hey, comic book fans! Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Geezers. I am Wild Bill, your host, the Unknown Comic, and I'd like to keep it that way. And this is Pete Pardo, the founding father of the show right here.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Cover. I've got an absolute treat for you guys today. Because not only am I going to show you the inside of a cover of a really cool book, it's actually a key book.
A key?
Oh, he's going to open up and show a key book? Yes, I am.
Are you really?
Boys and girls, I am.
You have white gloves on?
I don't, but that's okay. I will treat it with kid gloves. So,
all right.
This happens to be issue number 19 of the Avengers.
And when did you get this?
I don't know, a couple months ago.
Okay.
A couple months ago. The Coming of the Swordsman. So yes, this is the first ever appearance of the Swordsman in a Marvel comic, and of course he debuts in the Avengers. So, and of course this is the Avengers featuring Cap, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and
Quicksilver,
otherwise known as Pietro. Right?
Pietro,
the two mutants. So here we have, and this one is written by Stan Lee, drawn by Don Heck, and inked by Dick Ayers with Artie Simic on the lettering. So a classic team. This is a team that was working on the Avengers quite a bit. So here you got, the first panel, first page, the Swordsman. So basically what he says is, no one questions a man with an Avengers ID card. If I can join their team, there's nothing I won't be able to get away with. And those costume do-gooders would be fools to reject anyone as powerful as the Swordsman. So what do you surmise by that whole statement? It means that he's a villain and he's to try and pull one over on them just so he can get into the Avengers and trick them into doing his bidding, because that's what villains did back in the 60s, right? And this was published in 1965.
Oh, yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, it's on the opposite side. So,
it's
of course, under all the fishing stuff, all the information is down below there.
And this is his first costume.
This is his first costume, yeah. His second costume is a little bit different than this.
Black, isn't it?
No, you're thinking the Black Knight, actually. Black Knight was black. But he has had variations on this costume a bit. So he basically sneaks in to the Avengers compound, shows up, and what does he do? He gets into a confrontation with Quicksilver right off the bat, which is never any good. And then Scarlet Witch gets involved, and she's like,
Isn't this guy Quicksilver kind of like a hothead?
Of course he is. Yes, he is. They're not only one hothead, but they got two hotheads in the Avengers at this time, Quicksilver and Hawkeye. So basically, he gets into a fight with the both of them, but then he says, no need to fight anymore, because of course he sees the Scarlet Witch's powers, and he's like, maybe I shouldn't mess with this anymore. He goes, I was just testing you. He goes, hold it, stop, no need to fight anymore, I was just testing you. And he goes, you were testing us? Wait, Pietro, let's hear him out. So then he goes into this whole explanation, but then of course he has to get Quicksilver back for hitting him. So what does he do? He smacks him with the flat of his blade, right? And then the Scarlet Witch takes offense to that. So the conflict kind of continues.
I guess they didn't pass the test.
Yeah, there's something fishy going on here, but let's stop for a second. We
got
Marvel masterpieces. We got Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, featuring, I believe, the debut of the Molten Man, Strange Tales, and Daredevil number 9.
I have none of those books. None of
them. Don't?
No.
Oh, wow, you need to get some of these. I have all of them.
I don't have any of those. Those are old books.
They are. 1965. All right, so of course, Scarlet Witch is pissed off, so she knocks out the Swordsman. She goes and uses her hex powers to make some part of the wall fly and knock him out. Of course, then in comes Captain America, who, of course...
What's going on in here?
He was working out in the other room, because, Cap is always working out, and he sees that, who's this guy? There's the Swordsman. I think this panel's hilarious. He goes, the Swordsman, huh? Let me check him out on our microtape identity file. This is 1965.
Well, they didn't have computers then.
I guess, but look at this thing. It's like gigantic. He goes, if he had any sort of a record, we'll find out about it now.
Computers were big back then.
So he punches something in, right, into that big gray machine. There you go. Bill's got it right there. And then out comes this little card, which has information on him.
Fortran 77 programming. Computer cards.
Seconds later, he dared try to join our ranks. He's known in almost every nation in Europe as one of the most dangerous adventurers of all. And he's been exiled from a dozen countries.
Show that card again.
Yeah, it's classic.
Remember the TV show Batman?
Yeah.
When he used to go to the computer, he used to spit out a card also.
Just like that.
For an answer. Right?
Well, it's right around the same time, isn't
it?
Yes,
it is. Yeah. 65. That show came out, I think, 66?
Yep. So as they're talking about it, as they're punching things in, as they're looking at the card, the Swordsman wakes up. He smashes his sword into some panel, and the lights go out. Yep. Of course they do, right? And then, so all of a sudden, when the lights come back on, he's gone. And they're like, oh, where does he go? So Quicksilver goes, I'll catch him with these. And Cap goes, it won't be that simple. He'll lose himself in the night. He could be anywhere by now. So basically, he tells them to go look for him. He's going to go back to working out, right? Because that's what Cap does. So Cap goes back and he's working out, lifting weights, punching, boards, like things that Cap does. And then, of course, Hawkeye shows up. Hawkeye is such like a pain in the ass back then. So all of a sudden, Hawkeye's sitting there and he goes, well, what are you trying to do, Glamour Pants? Wreck the place? Not quite Hawkeye, but you might have wanted to if you'd been here a few minutes sooner. So he tells him about the fact that the swordsman was there, and all of a sudden Hawkeye's like, wait a second, the swordsman? No, it can't be him. Why? Have you heard of him? I've more than heard of him. He's the one man in all the world I used to fear. Better start at the beginning, Avenger. Yeah, it's about time I got it off my chest. So basically, here we go to
flashback story
to when
Hawkeye with swordsman
was working at the carnival with the swordsman.
Oh.
So he was kind of like the swordsman was kind of like his mentor back at the carnival. So there we see.
Oh, really?
Down there, yep. But he knew that the swordsman kind of was not a really good guy, and he was, into all the glory and all that kind of stuff. So here we have a young, kind of soft-spoken Clint Barton, right, the Hawkeye in his infancy. He catches the swordsman stealing money from the carnival, right? Embezzling money. He's like, you better not tell anybody, whatever. So Hawkeye goes to escape, or young Clint, and he gets into a skirmish with the swordsman. And, of course, he looks to be fallen to his doom, but actually he says, oh, I fell off the tightrope, but the rope broke my fall. How the hell is a rope going to break your fall? You look at that picture. Does that rope look like it's going to break his fall? He goes, no, he left me for dead, not knowing the rope had broken my fall. Okay, then he probably doesn't suspect Hawkeye is that boy from the past.
That's comics for you.
That's comics for you, right? Okay, sure. So then we go off. So another thing I want to talk about here. So at this point in time, Cap really, really wants to be a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
So he sent, earlier in this issue I didn't talk about here, he sent a letter to Nick Fury stating his desire to become a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. as another, part-time thing, as well as being in the Avengers. But he goes, but Nick Fury hasn't answered me in weeks. I wonder what the problem is. So then we go to a scene with some guys from Hydra who are spying on the S.H.I.E.L.D. building. And what did they see? Sitting on the table inside a window in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s headquarters is the letter from Cap, from Avengers headquarters to Nick Fury, unopened, sitting on the table or the desk with nothing else. Gee, how,
what a great find.
I'm telling you, right? Couldn't be more perfect than that, right? So
now Hydra's like,
what could that letter be, right? It's from Avengers. Oh,
it's probably about us.
Right, I guess. So they've got this machine that can blast a ray onto an inanimate object and then make it appear in another location.
Okay.
So basically, from across the street, they shoot this ray into S.H.I.E.L.D., the window at S.H.I.E.L.D.
At the letter?
At the letter. The letter disappears off
the teleports
table. It teleports into where they are. They read it, and they're like, this is useless. I'll read it to you. It's dated weeks ago. It's from Captain America requesting a chance to work with Fury. Fury never received the letter. It tells us nothing. It's useless to us. We have failed again. Crumples it up, throws it out the window, and then it lands. But wait, someone's walking below and says, hey, what's that?
It's a letter from Captain America.
So, hey, what's that? Whoop, there we go on that side. So there it is. And then we fast forward to a day later, and the guy who actually found the letter in the street is in a meeting with the swordsman. And the swordsman and the guy happens to be like a criminal guy, right? So the swordsman is trying to get guys to work with him.
The letter fell out into the street?
And a criminal guy.
He threw it out the window?
Yeah, he threw it out the window. The Hydra guy threw it out the window. It got into the hands of another criminal, right? So the criminal happens to be in a meeting with the swordsman. The swordsman's trying to find a way to get into the Avengers ranks. I'm telling you. Right, exactly. I'm going to pay you for information. So I got this letter. So the swordsman, so Captain America wants to join Nick Fury's organization, huh? This could be what I want. Then I'll get my dough. He goes, sure, after I've trapped him. Now get out. You've served your purpose. So now he...
So what? Captain America wants to join Hydra... wants to join S.H.I.E.L.D.
So he's
so what? Like what? What's the big deal? That's logical that he would want to join S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I don't see how this is such like classified information, top secret news.
Right? So the swordsman sends Cap a letter back impersonating himself as Nick Fury. So now, of course, Cap is all sorts of happy. He's jumping for joy.
So the swordsman said yes?
So as Fury, he says yes. So he's all excited. Meanwhile, the rest of the Avengers are like, why are you so excited? I don't like it. What gives you the right to be a part-time Avenger? Easy, Pietro. Do not anger him. He goes, my entire life gives me the right, mister. When you can point to a record like mine, then I'll discuss it further with you. And Hawkeye goes, now I know why you usually wear a mask. It's to hide your swelled head. Keep out of this, Hawkeye. So basically, in the letter, the swordsman impersonating as Nick Fury tells him to go meet me at this warehouse and we'll talk more about it. So what he does is he goes and shows up in there's this whole other side story.
Yeah, meet me at the office.
Hawkeye, who Hawkeye stumbles upon the guys who Swordsman was working with, and he knows that something is amiss, right? So he goes, it's a trap.
Of course it's a trap. He said meet me at the warehouse, not the office.
Right, but then so Hawkeye finds out about this whole scenario, but then he goes, Cap's a big boy. He could probably handle it himself.
So he doesn't want to back him up.
He doesn't know whether to go back him up or to just let him be.
He leaves him hanging like they left General Custer hanging.
So he doesn't know. He goes, I'm still Avenger. That's all that really matters, right? So then he's
going down there.
So he goes back to Avengers Mansion and he tells Wanda and Pietro, he goes, you know what? This is what's going on. We really should warn him. So he thinks twice about it, which is a good thing. So Cap shows up at the warehouse. There's nobody there but the swordsman. And he goes, I've been trapped till a fight ensues. And of course, it's the sword against the shield. The swordsman realizes what a really good fighter he is. So they get into it. Some pretty good battle action here going on. Pretty cool. Then you got your baseball game cards, X-ray vision ads, right? Just got to have those. And then the rest of the guys in the team and gal, they find out they can track him by some kind of tracker device, right? So they can find where he is at the warehouse. So the fight's raging on. The swordsman knocks all these tools and gears and things on top of him in the warehouse. So Cap gets covered up below, but he gets saved by the shield, right? Then finally by the time the cavalry arrives, Cap has been knocked out. The swordsman got him. He's got him on top of a building with a plank, just walk the plank on a ship. So he's got a plank hanging over this building. The rest of the gang is down below, and he's got Cap all tied up. And basically, how it ends is the last page. They think Cap gets pushed over, but he actually jumps, and the rest of them are down below. Oh no! What are we gonna do? He's falling to his doom, and for that, kiddies, you have to wait for the next issue.
Month.
So yeah. And I do not have issue 20, but it is on my next to order list. So
you don't know what happens.
Yeah. Well, I had it in Marvel Super Action.
Oh, you do.
I had it in that back in the day, so I actually know what happens, but I'm going to get the actual
issue
number 20, yes. So that will be coming on a future episode. I'm sure you will be waiting with anticipation to see what happens to Cap. Does he die? Does he fall to his death, or does he live? I think we all know how that turns out. But so stay tuned. So thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Cover. It is a key issue, The Swordsman debut, Avengers number 19. So
thanks for sharing that story, Pete, of Inside the Cover.
I love talking about these 60s books because they're so corny, they're great, right? So it's
where it all began. Right?
Absolutely.
So if you like this video, please click the like button and click the notification bell so you'll be kept in the loop every time we have a video. And please tell your friends about Comic Book Geezers if they don't know about us. Thanks again, as always, for your support and your comments. We look forward to cranking out more videos for you. I'm Wild Bill, as always, saying thanks for being here. And for Pete from Comic Book Geezers, we'll see you next time.
See you next time, folks. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.